Well, just tell the folks about being able to be here and watch your son-in-law play baseball in Kennard Jones.
Well, I hadn't had a chance to see him play since he was in the Padre organization, so we were coming back for the Hall of Fame, so we had planned on coming here and seeing him play a couple of games before we go to Cooperstown. And I have to tell you, it's been really interesting. You know, I mean, he you know, when you talk to him on the phone, he tries to describe to you what it was like, and we came last night, and I mean, I had a huge crowd, I thought, and he said, no, that was a Wednesday night crowd, you know. So the whole experience has been a lot of fun. The guys have just been kind of telling me, you know, what they see in him, and I've been trying to tell them, you know, what I see during the winter and stuff when we're working out. But I tell you, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Well, give me the scouting report of Kennard.
I think you know it already. I don't think I have to tell you. But you know, the thing with him is like a lot of young players, he's so hard on himself. You know, and at some point, you have to get to the point where you're having fun. You know, if it's work, then you're never gonna really find out how good a player you can be. But when you kind of get to that point where you say, okay, I'm gonna have some fun, I'm gonna quit putting so much pressure on myself, that's when you find out. You know, and with him, he beats himself up so much that I wonder if it's fun. Now, I tell him all the time, I know I can come and watch you take batting practice, hit the cage, and you're going to do it right, and it's going to look like it's easy, but then in the game, it changes, you know, and that's one of the hardest lessons I think there is to learn about the game of baseball, especially from a hitting standpoint, because the more pressure you put on yourself, the harder the game becomes, and the more you get to where you just like going out there and having fun, and you look at this as preparation, the easier it is. So. And he's a guy who beats himself up, so I'm kind of like the voice of reason the last couple of days. And you know, he had 3 hits last night. He's swinging bat pretty good. You know, tonight's a lefty though, and that where the mind starts to work, I can see it working already today. So it'd be interesting to see what happens.
Has he come to you for any advice, and have you given him any?
I give him advice all the time. And with my son too, it's the same way. I kind of like to let them ask the question, and then I try to give them the best answer I could give them. But both my son and KJ, they're workaholics. You know, they'll get the cage and hit it for an hour if you let them. And I try to tell them what Pete Rose told me, which was it's not the quantity, it's the quality. And so you can go and take 15, 20 swings, and if they're quality swings, you're going to get the same. You know, it's not going to get much better than that if you hit for an hour. And so, and that's the thing that I try to relate it in a way that makes it really sound easy. You know, I say, look, to be a good hitter, it basically boils down to see the ball, hit the ball, run like that. Really, you know, in its simplest form, that's what it is. The more you use your brain to complicate things, the harder it becomes. So get to the point where it's easy. See it, hit it, and run until they make you stop. You know, and so, and they look at me like, oh yeah, Dad, you're a Hall of Famer. You know, it's easy for you. And I try to tell them, no, I just really worked at it so where I understood who I was, and I didn't really worry about who was pitching, the umpire behind the plate, you know, all the excuses they come up with. You know, I try to put it in my hands, and I got a pitch to hit, I hit it. That's it. I can't control it after that. And they look at me like I'm crazy. So again, it's one of those lessons that you kind of have to figure it out while you're playing. I think KJ's finally getting to the point where he's starting to figure it out. I know my son is in the exact same boat. Get a chance to play in LA, and he's starting to figure it out. So is his dad and his father-in-law. It's kind of fun to kind of watch them in their environment do their thing. And again, I just sit back and watch. When they have questions, I try to answer.
Well, how about his new venture, his clothing line, his Diamond Gear Sports will debut tonight here in the Waddle Inn shop?
Let me tell you something about this guy, because he designed this thing a while ago. And I was, you know, we were having a conversation about how long you're going to play and what are you going to do after you finish playing. And he said he had this line of clothes that, you know, I was like, you got a line of clothes and you're not wearing? I said, you're not wearing it? What's going on? So he kind of got into it this winter and started printing up some T-shirts. You know, he'd come work out at San Diego State and hand it out to the guys who were working out. You know, and they all liked it. They thought it was great. So he asked me if I was coming, would I sign 50 of them for him, and I did. But getting here, people think it's my line, not his line. So I'm trying to tell people, no, it's not my line, it's KJ's line. And he asked me to sign 50 of them, and I did. And, you know, I guess he's going to have them in the gift shop tonight, so, you know, hopefully he'll do well. But that's, you know, that's just another aspect of, you know, what he does. He's got a good mind. And sometimes his application isn't the swiftest, but the fact that he he wanted me to bring him, I think it's a good thing.
Well, Tony, you talked about you going up to Cooperstown this weekend for the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Take me back to 2007 and the record crowds that showed up for you and Cal Ripken, and what are the memories that come back?
Oh, it's like yesterday. It was, I don't think I've ever done anything that I was as scared as I was going into that weekend. You know,
wow.
The speech seemed to be the focus, seemed to be the biggest thing, but it really wasn't. It was walking into a room full of guys that you just, no matter how successful you were, you just didn't feel like you belonged with, to be honest. And but every year since, it's been like the greatest experience to be with these guys, you know. And I look forward to it every year because the camaraderie of this group of guys is unlike anything I've ever seen. And this weekend we get to welcome, you know, Bert Blyleven and Roberto Alomar, 2 players, and then Pat Gillick, general manager, into the fold. And I sit here now just imagining how they feel, because I know I felt exactly the same way. And when they get there, they're going to find out it's the greatest experience ever, you know. But until you actually go through it and you're standing on the stage, you know, looking out to that crowd, and speaking from your heart and telling people, you know, how you really feel, that's going to be the focus. And so my job is like the voice of reason. It's going to be okay, you know, take your time. Have fun. This is your weekend. Really enjoy it, and because I do, I really do. I really look forward to going every year. And you know, obviously playing with Roberto Alomar when his career first started makes it just a whole lot more fun for me. But the whole experience in itself is a great one.
Well, another guy you played against for many years was Gary Carter, now a fellow Hall of Famer, and obviously you, Tony, having won the battle with cancer, Gary going through his right now. I just wonder what your thoughts are as Gary is a player and the battler that he was in, and the fight that he's in for right now.
Well, I pray for him every day because having gone through it, I feel very fortunate to be here today. His is a lot different than the one that I had. I just say prayers every night. I try to check the website every couple of weeks just to see how he's doing. He's a guy that sits at our table at the Hall of Fame, and we call it the Punch and Judy's table, but it's really a table of hodgepodge of guys who didn't hit 500 homers or didn't win 300 games, and we just kind of hang out, and he's part of our group, you know. So I hope that you know, things will continue to get better. Sounds like things are as good as they can be right now, and hopefully they will continue to get better and he's able to be here. But our thoughts and prayers are with him every day because cancer's not a lot of fun. It's really not. The stress that you put on your body and on your family and on your friends, it's unlike anything that I know I've ever seen. And like I said, hopefully things will continue to get better. Hopefully he'll be with us again at the Hall of Fame.
Well, Tony, I know Duck fans feel exactly the same way. Gary managed here 2 seasons ago, and they want you to enjoy watching your son-in-law Kennard tonight. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks for having me.